Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm John Armwood. I'm here representing She Got Game. And luckily today, I'm here with one of the most exciting eighth graders in the country, the most sought and talked about middle schooler in the country, Lovely Bess. How's everything going with you?
Everything's been going great.
Great, great. We love to hear it. We're super excited to have you on. We know how busy and stuff you're traveling, and I know your schedule's got to be hectic. So to make
Mhm.
time for us, we're really appreciative, and we look forward to having a great conversation today. To start off the show, we have a segment called the She Got Game moment, and this moment it usually determines, or it usually is the moment where it was a pivotal change for one of our guests. Meaning, it's the moment where they kind of embrace and they step into who they are and they feel like they arrived. What was your She Got Game moment, Lovely?
So my She Got Game moment would probably be in sixth grade. We were playing against high schoolers in the fall league, and we were beating all those teams. And I feel like for me, it was just like everything I've been doing in middle school and elementary school, it translates to the high school, and I can still do it in high school. So I feel like that was my moment where I feel like, wow, let's keep it going. Let's get better, stay in the gym and keep working. Like I'm still getting there too. Like it's not like I can't really think of just any individual moment where it's been like this is like made me um I don't know what it is. Sorry. I don't know. It's just been I feel like everything just combined has just been good. So
It's been an overwhelming experience and stuff for you, and just
mhm.
you kind of just been embracing that, and it's been really good for you.
Yeah.
Um, we do have a ton to get to here. Just for like the people at home, or people who may not be familiar with you, I want to ask. I understand you're from the West Coast. However, again, there's
Mhm.
people who may not know exactly where you're from. Please, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Portland, Oregon, and I lived there till I was like 7 years old. And then I moved to a suburb of Portland, about 20 minutes away. And I have horses, and my neighbors have goats and llamas, and I have cats, chickens, dogs. So it's kind of like a big farm where I live. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, that's a little different. That's pretty different.
Yeah.
With that being said, you do have a very unique name, right? I know personally,
hmm
I've been interviewing for years now, and it's something really, I guess, eye-grabbing about your name. Your name is Lovely. I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
have you ever spoken to your parents, or have they ever told you, where that name stems from, or what inspired them to come up with such a unique name? Because it stands out, and I think it's really cool.
So my name is obviously Lovely Bess. My mom's name is Joy. So when she was in middle school, she had the idea of naming me Love. So like when it got to the point where it's like time to name me, it was mostly figuring out my middle name.
Okay.
So it's kind of a funny story. So they were just going through a bunch of names for my middle name, and then they stumbled upon Lee, and it was a great name, a perfect fit. But the one thing is that my dad's old girlfriend's name was Lee. So it was kind of like this iffy moment. So they just changed the spelling from Lee to Lei. So that's why like people like I'm sorry for people who have trouble pronouncing it because it's all my dad's old girlfriend's fault, but that's where my name comes from.
Roger that. Roger that. No, that's really cool. Um, I want to tap into a little bit of your basketball background. And from there, around what age did you begin just getting involved in sports?
So I have two older brothers, so they play basketball too, so I was always just around them. But the first organized team that I've been on, it was when I was 4 and it was basketball. And then I also did soccer and gymnastics around the same time. So like 4.
Around 4? Okay. The reality of the game, especially playing all those
Yeah.
different sports, um, you know, as seasoned as you are now and the player you are now, I'm assuming when you first started, you weren't there, right? Those skills weren't
Yeah.
clearly. With that being said, what part of your game would you say came the most natural to you, especially first starting out?
I would definitely say like my aggressiveness and my physicalness. I feel like since I have two older brothers, we've always just like been fighting with each other, so that kind of just comes naturally. And
Mhm.
then also like grabbing the ball, like some things that other people have to think about, like it comes natural for me. So yeah.
Would you say your unique style of play and like as you just kind of stated that aggressiveness and some of those things that you were able to gather from playing with your brothers, would you say they've inspired you? And if not them, has there been anything or someone who has inspired your style of play?
So for sure, my brothers have been and very inspiring to me, like just the point guard position. But also, I would say Chloe Briggs and Ella Dean. They both play at UW, but they inspired my passes. Like 2 years ago, I saw their highlight videos, and Ella Dean like threw like a behind the back pass or behind the head pass off a fast break, and that's what inspired my first over the head pass, and then Chloe Briggs just does it all with all her passes. So they definitely inspire me.
I want to ask you, there's an aspect of how you said like so that their flair or their kind of I guess swagger to the game, right? Because anyone can make a pass. However, behind their back or just the
Yeah.
entertainment of the game, those individuals specifically, they've impacted your game to give you that extra spunk and stuff when you play. Correct?
Yeah, for sure.
For people whom you give inspiration to. I mean, I know you're young, and I know sometimes we don't look at it that way. However, there's probably younger girls or just younger people in general who probably look up to you. What are some of the drills that have helped you develop into the player you are today? And like, what are some of your favorite drills in general just to work on?
So I feel like I did a lot of creative finisher drills around the rim. I would do like you at the block and it's like pump fake shot, pump fake reverse, just learning all those. And then also mic and drills has been very helpful for me, just getting that touch off the backboard and working on like higher finishes off the backboard when you're playing against higher or taller defenders. And also playing one on one a lot has helped, just learning to be patient and all these creative finishes, fadeaways. And I'm really blessed to like have really tall girls on my team, so I can just focus on
Mhm.
how to finish on them instead of in the game. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Earlier in the interview, you mentioned early in the minute, when I asked you about the She Got Game you mentioned the Winter Series. Now, granted,
Hmm.
you also stated you're from Portland, so meaning at this point, I'm over here on the East Coast in Jersey. We're based in Jersey. You're over there
Yeah.
in Portland. We're at completely two different opposite ends. With that being said, when you played in the Winter Series, how was that for you being bi-coastal and traveling over to the East Coast to play, and then travel? How was that
Yeah.
experience being bi-coastal?
Yeah, it was great. I've never played on the East Coast before then because I was born on the West Coast, always been playing on the West Coast. So you always hear everyone say like the East Coast plays different and they're more physical. So it was cool to go out there and compete at the highest level and just challenge yourself. So it was really cool.
Would you say the stigma or at least the hype around that New York, New Jersey, that East Coast style of ball is very different than the West Coast? Would you say that stigma lived up to its hype?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like over there, it's like everyone's like aggressive. Everyone can handle it. Everyone just like really physical, which is really different than here. Here we have like good teams, good ball movement, good shooters, but it's like a different feeling over there.
Fair enough. It's a little grittier over here. It's a little gritty.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you and your team not only competed, but you guys won both tournaments on the East Coast and West Coast. How much
Hmm.
how much did that accomplishment mean to you personally, but also just as a team in general? How big of that, how big of accomplishment was that for you guys?
Yeah. So to be honest, we didn't know what to expect going out there. But we had a goal. Our team came together and we set a goal to win the whole thing our first time going out there. And then after we did that, like our new goals were to defend the ship. So that's what motivated us to practice, like defending the ship. But I think it's just like a testament to like if you get a team and you set a goal and you work hard and over time, like you stay true to the goal that anything's possible. But it meant a lot to me and my teammates. We were really excited and yeah, we loved it.
Absolutely. I mean, granted, you have a bunch of accomplishments, but another accomplishment I want to highlight, you've managed to secure being invited to the All American tournament. Now, I
Mhm.
want to know how has all these accomplishments, but that specifically have impacted your overall confidence as a player, but also just, accomplishing all these things at such a young age and at such a young point in your career. What do all these mean to you, and how do you think this plays in an effect in your game?
Yeah. So it was definitely an honor to be invited to the All-American game. Coach Ty Marissa did a phenomenal job with the camp. It was definitely you're at that camp and you're at like with the top people in the nation and it's like I'm right here and my teammates are right there. So it was definitely a little confidence boost for me and my teammates and it's like great because like those are my teammates. So in practice I'm playing with the top people in the nation too. So it's definitely great. Confidence boost for sure.
Absolutely. Would you say is it kind of a iron sharpens iron kind of deal? You playing with all
Yeah.
these girls or the top talent, it only just improve, makes you improve.
Mhm. Definitely.
Absolutely. I do want to highlight on your IG page. I mean, you have several different highlights. You have a lot of things on there. However, you have
Mhm.
a picture with former She Got Game interviewee Talia Valhoffen. I call her Tifo. Um,
Mhm.
During your visit, where you established, and because she's also from Portland, she's around the area.
Yeah.
Um, during your visit, like, were you able to establish a friendship or any type of relationship with her? And if so, what are some of the aspects of her game that you've looked at and that you've tried to mimic or you've tried to implement in your game?
Yeah, so we've been to OSU a lot, and every time we've been there, Talia's been so welcoming and so nice and so personable. And I've definitely established a relationship, and it's cool to like see her play on the TV. And I'm like, I literally know her. Like I was just with her the other day, so cheering a little extra hard. But something I want to take from her games, definitely her leadership. Her teammates have touched on that too in their post conferences, like, her leadership is just top tier, and I can definitely see that, like, on and off the court, so definitely her leadership, I would like to take that.
How excited for you about her new, she just recently transferred, unfortunately from OSU, but she just recently transferred to USC where
Mhm.
she'll be playing with Juju. And
Yeah,
a
Juju and
lot of,
Kiki.
oh my God, and a lot of other talented players. How excited are
Mhm.
you for her and like what do you think that'll look like in this upcoming season?
I'm so excited to watch them, I don't know, like, it's just, like, a lot of talents right there on that team, so it's gonna be really exciting to see how it all the pieces go together, like Kiki, Juju, Talia, so I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't wait for the tournament next year. It looks like they're gearing up to play the UConns and the South Carolina, so I'm really excited as well.
Mhm.
Speaking of just,
Yeah.
college players and just talented players, at this young age, do you have anyone from the W or the NBA that you enjoy to follow or any college players? Are there any favorite, do you have any specific favorite players that you really enjoy to build your game around or at least to implement in your game?
So, for WNBA, I like Sue Bird, I think she has a really high IQ, and she's a great passer, but also she can score, so I like to watch her and just learn different things. For NBA, I would say Steve Nash. He's an amazing passer, so you can just learn more reads from him, especially off of pick and rolls. Just learning different passes, different reads. So
Would
I
you
like them.
say you feel most comfortable in those high PNRs? A lot of that was like Steve Nash game. Even Sue Bird, she would come off with Stewie in those high PNRs, and either they'll play off each other. She's shooting, she's diming it. Um,
Mhm.
do you personally feel more comfortable in those situations in those high PNRs, or would you rather kind of get it on the wing and go get a bucket?
So I've been working a lot on the pick and rolls like recently, so I'm definitely getting there and feel a lot more comfortable now than a year ago. But I think anything, honestly. I feel comfortable there, I feel comfortable on the wing. I just yeah, feel comfortable everywhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the
Yeah.
confidence kicking in. I love it. From my understanding, you were able to, well, from the tournament, from my understanding, you were able to view the Final Four in Cleveland. Um, that said, how impactful was it to, how impactful was that experience to you and just your overall team to see those two iconic teams play on the biggest stage? And, do you envision yourself there one day?
So I was in Cleveland at the All-American thing when that happened, but I didn't actually go to the games. But the All-American camp thing had like a watch party, so most of the girls went there, and also like the high school girls from the All-American camp went there too. So it was cool to like be able to build a relationship with them.
Mhm.
Team. So I went there. I watched all the games there, and I love the atmosphere, the energy. I definitely do envision myself playing there. Actually in 2030, I'm pretty sure they have the Final Four in Portland. So that's one of my goals to play there. I'll be a sophomore in college in that time. So hopefully I can make it there.
Absolutely, absolutely. At the rate and trajectory you're going, just putting the
Mhm.
work in and the consistency is bound to happen for you. So, um, from there, I do want to kind of transition into, because realistically, I think you would agree, life's more than basketball, right? Like the game of basketball
Mhm.
is simply the game. However, the impact of basketball is far greater. Especially talking about Caitlin Clark and certain
Yeah.
girls who are impacting the game dramatically off the court. Um, I want to ask you, is there any former or current player you admire off the court? While they may be great on the court, is there anyone you admire off the court and their impact for the game overall?
So I have two. I would say Cameron Brink and then I would say Donovan Hunter. They're both from Oregon, so I've gotten a chance to really get to know them. Cameron has had a couple camps that I've been able to go to, and then I went to Stanford camp, and just like her energy, like on and off the court, is contagious, and I love it. And then Donovan, like she's really strong in her faith, which I think is very inspiring to me as a young Christian girl. So yeah, I think both of them definitely my favorites off the
Absolutely.
court.
Absolutely. You just mentioned faith. Ironically, that goes in, that goes in the daily life. That goes in. There's a lot of things where your faith may carry you through, and it's one of those
Yeah,
times through tough times in the game, right? Life is like
yeah.
life ebbs and flows.
Mhm.
It's not always perfect. It's not always great. During the tough times, or excuse me, during any tough times you had to ever endure, are there any sayings or quotes, or are there anything you like to draw from to help you persevere through tough times?
Yeah, so definitely remembering that God has a plan and you just need to stay true and believe that. And then also like Romans 8:18 is the pain that you are feeling right now doesn't compare to the joy that's coming. So always just keeping that as my rock, keeping that as my setting stone. And then also in the moment, I always tell myself, I got this, I can do this. Just keeping a positive mindset has really been helpful for me to get out of those tough times and just move on to the next thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. In conclusion, is there any advice you like to leave any younger girls, possibly boys, that may resonate with your journey or just overall may look up to you? Is there any advice or anything you like to leave with them or, just for any viewers that may watch?
Yeah, I would definitely tell people to surround themselves with the right people. I feel like that's really important to have the right friends that are like-minded, that want to see you succeed and you want to see them succeed. There's going to be a lot of distractions as we get higher and older. Just remembering just to stay on the right path and not get distracted. And then also remembering that it's a marathon and not a sprint. So don't get carried up in like a loss. Because that really, if you have a goal and it's at the end of the marathon, that really doesn't matter. It's just a little step back that from a grow from, but don't get too carried up in it. So that'll be my advice.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just be in the moment, and that's great.
Mhm.
That's great advice. Coming from such a young girl, it's pretty wise.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
Thanks.
that, and I'm pretty sure the viewers, when this drops, are gonna appreciate that as well. Again, we understand you have a crazy schedule. We're beyond.
Mhm.
Well, you were able to come sit down with us and take the time to chat with us. Thank you again for your time, Lovely, and definitely here
Yeah.
at You Got Game. We wish you all the best, and most importantly, a healthy and successful season.
Thank you.